Welcome to the Retire with Peace podcast, the podcast where we help you create a fulfilling and stress-free retirement. Each week, we bring you expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you plan and live your best retirement life. Whether you're nearing retirement or already enjoying your golden years, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Let's embark on this journey together and discover how to retire with peace.
Welcome back to the Retire with Peace podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dave Zaegel. And there are certain times in history that really help validate the strategy that we are using. And we are in one of them right now. In 2023 and 2024, the stock market had fantastic years, and you could have pretty much used just about any decent strategy and come out okay, because the market really lifted all ships, and as long as you weren't doing something crazy, your investments probably did just fine. Then there are years like 2020 or 2022 or now 2025 that really serve to highlight what it is that we recommend people do with their investments when planning for retirement. 2025 has been a very up and down year, almost day to day, hour to hour, sometimes minute by minute, a lot of very sharp fluctuations. And we expected some volatility coming into this year, but it's exceeded even what I expected to happen. But the nice thing is, with the way that we have everything structured and the way that we plan, we didn't have to stress quite as much, and clients didn't have to stress quite as much. And this is why I recommend over and over again these planning structures that we'll talk about, and the mentality around them and why they work so darn well. Because now we've had a whole bunch of fluctuations over the past several months, and because we've had income set aside, we haven't had to stress nearly as much. It's not that fear or worry never go away, because everybody that we work with has different levels of fear and concern. Some will still get worried just because there's a ton of news coming out constantly. And if they're not turning off the news, they can get very worried, which is understandable. And others don't even think about it. They tune all that stuff out, so it's really not a big deal to them. We'll see a large and wide scale in terms of how much people worry. But it's nice that when somebody gets concerned, and this happens, I have to admit, this happens to me as well. I think I have just learned to have a very short cycle where maybe I'll get worried about something happen, and then quickly I can kind of snap out of that and go, oh, okay, well, I shouldn't really be worried because we have these things in place. So it's not that I'm saying I never worry. Certainly I have frustrations and worries when things happen with investments, but again, just having this history, I'm able to snap out of it a little bit. But having at least 5 years of income set aside in individual bonds, structured notes, CDs, short-term bond funds, things like that, where we know that we are going to have a maturity or a set amount at the end of that instrument's life, that is huge, because we know that when the stock market does crazy stuff, which it will, we're giving it at least 5 years to bounce back. That's why it served us so well in 2020 when COVID hit and the market went crazy. It served us well in 2022 when the market was awful. Even bonds were awful. It was just a rough year overall, but we had plenty of time. That only lasted a year. We had 5 years over which we could have let that bounce back. That only lasted one. Served us well that year, and it's serving us well so far in 2025, where we've had a decent year investment-wise, even despite all the ups and downs. I shouldn't say decent. We've actually had a good year. Regulators don't allow me to talk too much about performance, but we've had a good year, even despite all the craziness in the market. Part of that's the investments that we have, but also a lot of it is the structure and the fact that we didn't have to do really a whole lot of panicking. We can make little adjustments around the edges when things changed, but we still have the basic structure in place. We had that 5 years worth of cash ready to go. And we also came into this year after having 2 really good years where we built up a little bit more guaranteed income in a lot of accounts. So in many cases, instead of just having 5 years, we added a 6th. And this isn't a massive change. It's not about making huge adjustments and redoing everything. It's more about tweaking along the way and figuring out what's going to work and how much extra safety we should have after we've had a couple of good years. And that's what we did. That's the things that we recommend that people do. Make sure you have at least 5 years of income locked down, not really tied to the stock market. And after you've had a good couple of years, maybe you add a 6th year, maybe you even add a 7th year. If it's really been amazing, maybe you even add an 8th year. That's stretching it a little bit. But the point being, you can adjust around that. Just make sure that when times are good, you're still setting aside at least 5 years of income. This year is a fantastic validation of the strategy where it takes off a ton of stress and a ton of uncertainty and worry. Those just go out the window because we're set. We have income for the next 5 years, and the rest of it's going to grow long term. We don't have to drive ourselves crazy wondering what the market's going to do in the next hour. We can know that we have income set aside coming in on a regular basis, no problem. So if you haven't listened to other podcasts and really gotten deep into this, because we talk about this all the time, now you know. Have at least 5 years set aside in something like CDs, individual bonds, structured notes, anything that's going to make sure that you get paid cash for the next 5 years, and you can let the stock portion of your investments grow much more over the long term.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. I really appreciate your support and hope you found value in the conversation. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Your feedback helps keep the show growing. Until next time, take care and stay strong as we learn to retire with peace.